Alright, and I'm back. Alright, so we're not getting expansion information on the watches. Why is that? Maybe it's because it's a null value. Let's try D. Oh man. There we go. Test struct, public. Nice. Nice. Okay, so that's all the watches. What else do we want to save? You want to save? All right, so do we want to like make it so that it reruns the program? Okay, so we could do a number of things. We could make it so that it starts so that GDB starts the process in such a way that like if GDB itself crashes, it could still reattach to the process. Maybe? I don't know. That seems a little bit complicated. Like, even if we use GDB server or something like that, it could still very well, I mean, we don't know for a fact that a crashed GDB client won't cause the GDB server to crash. So maybe that's a bad idea. We could also make it so that GDB itself is can be rerun, or like, so okay, so we already kind of know we want to handle the case where GDB has crashed and we want to restart. We don't want HUMBUG to crash. We want the ability to restart GDB and continue on. But we also sort of kind of want the idea that, like, maybe HUMBUG crashed, maybe GDB should keep running, and then reattach to the existing GDB process. Or are we putting in too much logic for something that, like, are we putting in too much conditional logic for something that's going to be a corner case anyway? Like, are we making the whole program unnecessarily complicated because we just want to be able to handle crashes better, and maybe we should just focus on not crashing? I don't know. That's a tough question. Obviously, I don't want to crash. But I feel like we could never, like, so every GDB front end I know of crashes. Like, the DDD crashes. Pretty sure Qt Creator crashed on me. So, like, so maybe, like, the best feature of HUMBUG is that it just crashes nicer. I don't know. It's kind of something that I would like to explore. Maybe it's a waste of time. Maybe it's not. I haven't done it before. So maybe we'll look into that. So So we've really got two things here. We've got GDB crashing, and we have HUMBUG crashing. So how can we basically set it up so that we can reattach to GDB? And how can we do it so that we aren't like creating extra latency? Like, I wonder if okay, so if we do pgrep GDB, well, so this is our actual target. This is the GDB that HUMBUG is using. So if we go to like FDs, okay, so here's the it's file descriptors, okay, and they're like, so like, you know, like 0, 1, and 2 are the you know, like standard input, output, and error. So is it possible? So, I mean, obviously, like, towards this end, I could, like, I could just make it so that, like, I could just write a proxy application that was designed to handle this. But I wonder if I could just do it externally without having to for it to know about it. But maybe here's another question. If I had full control over GDB, then, like, if I could edit the GDB source code, I could easily allow it to handle that case, right? Like, I wouldn't have to hack it. I could just make it aware of reattaching, and that would be probably better supported. But then we come back to the existing problem. Well, okay, and then we come back to an issue that I've been trying to address, that is, if we are starting to make modifications to GDB, and so essentially we'll have our own either GDB lib based proxy or our own fork of GDB, and if we are to that point, then it was raised on Discord that, like, if we are doing that, can we still technically call ourselves a GDB frontend? Like, if we're relying on a specific version implementation of GDB. And so I want to write a blog post on that question. Because if I have control over GDB, like full control over GDB, like I have my own fork and I'm doing everything, then there are some neat things that I could possibly unlock. There's a lot of potential there. Like in terms of efficiency and protocol simplicity and all that. So anyway, like we are very quickly going down a deep rabbit hole here. So I don't want to go down this route here. What I need to do is go ahead and write that blog post and get some feedback from the community on that. All the best treasures deep down the rabbit hole. Yep. How are you doing, Fiery Drake? It's Mike, right? Yes. I believe it's Mike. Man, I got that wrong before and I felt like such an asshole. If you like carrots, anyway. Fiery Drake, what do you think about this? Like, if I am to the point where I have modified GDB and I'm like running my own version of GDB and HUMBUG like is dependent on this new version of GDB, can I at that point still call myself a GDB Frontend, or do I need to like rebrand as something else, something new? And I didn't mean to, single out Fire Drake. I mean, anybody who's watching, I feel like should, participate. I'm not sure if Dominic's still watching. So, like, I still basically want to... I still feel like it's mostly going to be the same thing. It's going to have GDB compatible consoles, still connect to a GDB server, still use GDB syntax for, watch expressions. Okay, so Fire Drake is saying, mind you, if you have something of value that you're adding, then you can contribute. Then can you contribute it back? Then the problem goes away. Yeah, I mean, GDB is GPL'd, so I'm gonna have to make whatever changes I make open source. So it could go back, but the problem is that when I go into developing something, I'm a little bit hostile. Like, when I go into other people's code, I'm a little bit hostile because... Or I imagine I would probably be perceived to be hostile, whereas... I'm not really intending to be hostile, I'm just trying to go to, like, the quickest, most efficient path possible for my own goals. And that would probably involve, like, completely stripping out their build system. Because I don't like their makefile system. It's really complicated. It's hard to customize. And like that's one of the things I would like to be able to control. Like, I'd like to be able to build, very close to one of the problems with GDB right now is that it's hard to create a static binary. And I actually do think it's impossible to create a static binary. But you can create a mostly static binary, but their build system doesn't allow you to do that. So, like but anyway, I'm going into a tangent, but like if I was starting to go into the code there, I would probably start making changes that would make it hard for them to integrate back. And I honestly wouldn't really be very concerned about that. Because like, I don't know, I guess maybe I have like a slightly hostile attitude towards it because, I mean, they have like bug reports that have been open since like 2009. And, I'm sure even further back than that they just never address and stuff like that. So if I'm like going in, I'm just going to do whatever's best for me. Without regard to doing anything inconvenient for me that would cause it to merge back for them. But I don't know. There's also other things I could do. I could do like, there's a thing called libgdb.a, which is a static binary or a static library of GDB. And so that way I could do most of my own customizations in my own code without having to fork GDB. But then it would probably still end up relying on a specific version of GDB, maybe the latest version of GDB. Okay, comments. Dominic is saying, I believe that if HUMBUG can differentiate between those versions, some versions can be toggled based on that. So you're saying I should have a, maybe I'll have the advantages of, my own I'll have a streamlined version that, uses, my own version of GDB and does all of the things that, I've optimized that. But then we'll also have a generic version of the code that is compatible with all GDBs, and like I'll just switch between, the cores depending on, which I'm using. And, I could probably do that. And if that's, so it is more work for me to do that, but it's not really that much work for me to do that. The biggest issue is like making sure that both versions of the code get tested. Because like, I really will only want to test like one at a time. Like once I get on a good path, like I'll probably be like, oh, well, I'm just going to make sure that that version gets tested. I don't know, maybe I should work on some test suites or something like that. Fiery Drake says, in spirit, I'd say that you are practically... So you're saying in spirit, I'd be a GDB front end. But practically speaking, maybe not, depending on what the user has to do differently, because you have a fork. Legally, I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily concerned with like what it is legally. Like, obviously, it's, I'll keep the GPL code open under the same conditions as the binary. I'll comply with the GPL, and but I'm gonna comply in my own way. Like, the GPL doesn't say that you have to like fully distribute the source code for your stuff. It just says that you have to simply distribute the source code under the same conditions as the binaries. So if I put the binaries for GDB behind a paywall or something, then I could still put the source code behind the paywall as well. I know that seems sketchy, but I just don't want to have to, like, I don't know. If people have a problem with it, then I'll just do something different. But I don't know. I'll probably just, maybe I'll put the GDB stuff on GitHub and just leave it open. I don't know. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on it? Feel free to be as candid as possible. Like, the main reason I would be erring towards not being like 100% open source with everything all the time is that, you know, I believe, like, one of my beliefs is that the reason why the current state of things is so poor is because there isn't a good way to set up a business model, or a good, like, you know, feedback loop where there's a well-defined customer and a well-defined, you know, person who's taking responsibility for keeping a product, for maintaining a product. And because there's not that feedback loop and incentive, you know, that's why we have, you know, no good GDB front ends that work, and we have GDB that has bugs in it for years, for decades. And so that's kind of my attitude on the situation. But I don't know. I mean, that said, I'm not, I am willing to put Humbug as open source or something if that's what everybody wants, or maybe I'll have like a certain pay level or whatever to do that. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting really distracted. So I just want to be clear, Dominic. Are you saying that you would want both versions, or you would want the version that would work with any GDB? Like, that's important to you? I don't know. But anyway, like, maybe I should do some experimentation with that real quick. Sort of like, man, I'm so, like, attention deficit. Maybe I should focus on just finishing this watch window stuff, so I could at least say that I finished that this weekend, and then begin exploring other stuff. Yeah. Well, okay, so let me kind of go into I guess one of the main reasons why. So let me quickly sort of go over the reasons why I'm thinking this way, or why I'm thinking I want a custom GDB. So originally, like, long term, or like, you know, back when I was like doing all the GDB parsing stuff, where I, you know, wrote bidet, and like I came up with the way to sort of like effectively parse all of the stuff that GDB sends back and forth. And just to give you an idea, this is what GDB's syntax looks like here. So it's ASCII based. It's very string oriented. I have to this is sort of difficult to parse efficiently because a lot of times, traditionally, when you parse stuff like this, people just do let me malloc a buffer and then let me scan, let me do stir and all that kind of stuff. But I've kind of gone one level, I think, better than that, where instead of doing like a stir dupe on it or copying into a temporary buffer, I basically just parse it in a way where I only look one character ahead of time, and say, okay, I've got a comma here, so that means that I'm looking for this, or the next thing I'm looking for is either going to be name, num, value, type, or whatever, and let me switch on that, and all that stuff. So I don't actually have to copy name somewhere and do stir on it, or stir comp on it. I'm just making the minimal choices moving forward. And so, that has the advantage of not having to do a copy, which is slow. It's half as fast, really, because you're having to do your reads and writes twice. There's other optimizations I could add on to it too. I could make it buffer based and whatnot. So, I'm also kind of doing this thing where if I get to this point where I want to parse this, then I just parse it straight from this buffer. Or if I need to copy a string out of it, like this string here, when I get to this point, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to copy everything from the file descriptor into the memory arena or something. And I'm not doing it the most efficient way all of the time. There's definitely some places where I'm doing stir dupe, where it's convenient and stuff like that. So it's not. I'm not trying to boast and say that it's 100% optimized all the time. But I'm just saying the methods that I'm using have enabled some optimizations there. So anyway, I'm going into a tangent, but basically what I'm saying is that what I'm sort of getting up ready to say is that I think that all of this and is really unnecessary. Coming up with a system to efficiently parse a string-based protocol is kind of a waste of time, because if I had full control over GDB, I could make the protocol easier to parse. I could basically say that every packet has a 64-bit, a 8-byte, or I could just make it so that each packet header had a fixed size, and I could just read that into a struct once, and I knew what size it was, so I could go and specify the read, the byte number to the system call. So I'm not doing multiple system calls. So that that right there is a huge win. And in that struct, instead of having all these strings or whatever, for the different packet types and whatnot, I could just have in binary, a 32-bit integer that maps to some enum that will say, hey, this is the type. All right, and that could be done in one instruction, or a jump. Not necessarily one instruction, but a jump table or something like that. It's far easier than doing stir comp type of stuff. It's more dense in memory terms. There's a huge win. Also, in that header, I could basically just say, here's the size of all of the rest of the information. So then I'm only doing one system call for reads for the rest of the reads. So like one system call gets the header, the other system call gets the rest of the packet, and I'm only calling out to the operating system to read from the pipe twice in that sense. And also, like, because I have the number of items there, I could just do a simple for loop and, you know, parse things. So, like, you know, I'm kind of going through all of this, but, like, basically what I'm saying is that if I had control over both ends of the protocol, I could parse this way more efficiently than I am doing now. So, like, if I kind of went down that road, you know, and also I would say it's not necessarily more efficient, but it's also simpler. Like, the code, the entire implementation becomes much simpler. If I go down that road, I think I'll want to do that with everything. Like, I'll just do that, like, 100% with everything. So I don't know. You know, and I could, you know, like, so I could have that version that uses that version of the protocol, and then I could have a version that uses the, you know, traditional machine interface version of the protocol. And, you know, I could just switch the backend implementations depending on, like, what protocol we're using, but I'd still have to maintain both versions. It's not like, oh, we're just turning on some features or something like that. It would have to be two different implementations. And so that's just one example of kind of what I'm going for. And so I could maintain both. Like, if that's what, like, so if there's like 20 users or something, and like 5 of them have something of a specific version of GDB they want to use, and like 15 of them don't care, then I'd be willing to do both versions. I just need to know. I kind of, that's kind of what I want to get back from a blog post. Is like, I want to get some feedback from people as like what exactly you would need. Because if it's like 1%, then I'm like, you know, I don't think I really want to maintain the back end, the you know, unforked version of GDB backend. So, I don't know. I feel like I just rambled on. You know, I'm interested in any opinions and thoughts on the matter. So, anyway, I need to focus on, continue to bring in any comments and stuff that you want to discuss, and we can continue to discuss it. But I think today, I need to focus on getting the watch window done, so I can at least say that I made that progress this weekend. And then, like, maybe I'll try to get some low-hanging fruit in terms of some bugs and fixes on Trello, because there's like 50 like things on, there's just like so much stuff on Trello right now. Yeah. Hey, Fiery Drake, do you want to be a tester? Are you interested in being a tester for Humbug? I know you got your own stuff you're working on, but, you know, if you would like to be a tester, I would be happy to add you to the testing program. And if you are, just make sure you're on IRC, the Handmade Network IRC, and I'll direct message you. You do not look like you're on Handmade Network IRC, as far as I can tell. Oh, downtime. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm just gonna assume that it's good and be like, that's, I'm glad things are, going easy for you. Oh, you're lacking spare time. That's what you meant. Okay, so it's bad. Okay, I can understand your situation. Gotcha. I don't work and family stuff. Okay. I hope everything's going well for you. I don't want to ask directly because, one, I don't want to pry, and two, I don't want you to have to announce to the world on Twitch anything that may be private. Okay. So anyway, sometime when you get a chance, direct message me on Handmade Network IRC, and I will get you hooked up. All right. So, let's see here. Load the binary. Start. The oh, I see you on now. You just come on. Message fiery FI okay, join. Ah, okay. Well, that you know what that. So I'm in sort of a similar situation. I'm gonna play games tomorrow, but you're in store for at least 20 minutes to an hour of just doing Windows updates and driver updates and stuff like that. That's every time I open up Windows. And then forget, stuff. Here, I'm sending you details on IRC right now. New builds. And then I'll send you Please build. And let's get you on Trello. Okay, I have sent you all the things. Okay, so let's go ahead and just finish out the watch window here. We've got, so we pretty much have everything working. What else do we want to do? I want to make it so that I guess I want to be able to specify okay, so what do we need to do? We need to be able to specify what thread if thread and frame it's going to run on. Like right now, everything's assumed that it's floating. Or that, we need to be able to attach watch information to a specific thread, or thread information to a specific watch. And also, I want tab completion. So, maybe not necessarily tab completion, but like, oh, here, while I got you guys here, I need some feedback. Okay, so, and Dominic, I haven't had time to read your comments on Trello, so I'm not sure if you've already addressed this issue or not, so I apologize. But the, so, like, we have two different types of things right now. So we've got this version here, where it's like, main, right? Where you press tab and you, like, select options. Okay, but, like, right now, it's case sensitive, and it only, like, works from the beginning. Like, it only searches, like, the prefixes of the results. And that's a limitation in GDB. Yet another thing I could probably control if I had full control over GDB. Like right now, but for example, imagine a more advanced version of this that was case insensitive and it could search, anywhere in the string. Like, more like, okay, so forget this. Let me say, for example, let's say we have the for-coder version of searching, where it's like, I start typing, and then I hit my arrow key and can select an option. Alright? So we've got that version, where, like, it's like a filter and selection process. That's kind of what I was going for with this, but I haven't quite achieved it yet. And then, so that's like version A, or type A of searching. And then you have like type B, which is like pure traditional tab completion, where it's like, B main, where it's just gonna like complete in the console. Do you guys prefer like this version or like this version, or would you like something else? Like, so I guess I'm trying to figure out like what I should do in the watch window and what's preferred. So I like to keep everything open too. But it's difficult switching tasks. Do you guys know what I'm talking about here? Like this version of selecting something. Like I just type BUI and I've got everything it contains build or test or like GUI. Like, okay, so we've got, let's say we've got the 4coder / Emacs version of searching, where it's like, I just start typing and it gives me a list of options that fit that criteria. Basically just, does a stir or like a case insensitive stir and finds matches. And then you can use the arrow keys to like select something and then hit enter to select it. And that's very similar to what I've got here. But almost. This isn't quite there yet. Then you've got that's version A. And then version B is like the console tab completion system. Like, hello, like LS, HUMBUG, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what I was going for here. Well, I was kind of going for the Emacs version of that. So, like, what method do you guys think I should put for searching here? You prefer this? Okay. Okay. Then I will try to... I think I prefer that as well. Okay. So I think that's what I'll try to do with watches then. So in order to do that, yeah, that's a good idea. Next item on the list, when the search term didn't change. Yeah. Okay, so Fiery Drake. I like to have 2 searches. One for all the content, which is a deep search, which is submit to get results, and one which is as you type fuzzy filter over. Okay. So you're kind of saying I should do it in like 2 stages? Shallow stuff is basically everything you can access quickly. Well, I think I can get a whole... Okay, so let's look at here. If I do like info variables... So that's pretty slow. So I guess that would be the slow path. Wow. Info arguments. Info args. This. All right. Well. You want to search on stuff that doesn't have a search box normally. So I'm assuming that would be the slow search. Because they don't have a search box normally. It's a slow search. So I guess that would be like two, like, are you thinking like that would be like two different buttons? Like tab is quick search and maybe like shift tab is like long search or something. Or like control tab maybe. Oh, we're stopped. So you've got tab, and then maybe like control tab. Right now it's mapped to the same thing. Well, okay, so like right here, this is potentially slow. Like, I mean, it's not slow because I have a really slow, relatively slow binary, or a small binary. But this could be laggy. Actually, it's really fast. That was everything. And it's really fast. Well, okay, so GDB internally truncated it. Yeah. Okay. Well, so info variables is really slow. Right? So that would be part of the slow list, I would say. So, okay, but I could do like variables, info variables, That was actually pretty quick. So, let's see here. But it's potentially slow. So maybe like, you know, shift tab. Okay. So how does this sound, right? So HUMBUG will basically, when it's doing a search for something, like variables to watch or stuff to search for here, if you do shift tab, it'll do a slow search on whatever you have in your criteria. And then it'll take the results of that and it'll cache them. So you could basically go back to previous searches very quickly. And then maybe we'll store the last 16 searches you did. And then if you continue to type, it will just give you all of the results, the distinct results of all of the past 16 searches that contain the text you did. And those should be pretty quick. That should be, I imagine that should be pretty quick. Like, even if it was like, 10,000 items total, that should be a pretty quick search. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. So, like, what does that look like here? Let's go to continue. So let's go to the watch window. Oh. So first off, we're going to have an idea of like what mode we're in. So watch. So let's do switch case. What am I doing? Like watch window mode. And then we're going to do case watch mode I wonder if I could do like using namespace watch window mode. I wonder if that would work. And then I could just do like case main break. GUI text main. Search. And then, yep. Let's do namespace watch window mode enum main. Search. There we go. Okay. So that worked, apparently. Okay, so then I think what we want to do is like X modes or count. And then we'll do so right now, are we running? Why do we not have text? Oh, it's because we are not in the window. Okay, so ImGUI begin watches. Plus watches. I'm just going to put it here. Alright, and build. Okay, so there's our main. Alright, so let's find, let's grab our source, viewer. I have like this thing where like if you hit tab, okay. We can't simply. Well, I don't know. Why can't we? Here. Hoping this will work. Tab, false. Main watch window mode. Plus plus. Watch window mode. Equals. Watch window mode. Mod. Watch window mode. Enum count. Oh. Warning, enum count not handled in switch. Yes. So let's do default assert 0. one does not simply increment an enum. Well, one does not simply walk into the linked list. Yes. Well, I could do this. By the way, I'm not necessarily advocating that these are the proper and good things to do. I don't even know if this is like what I like to do, but this is just what I'm in the mood to do at the moment. Segmentation fault. Oh, okay. Yeah. It is like 100 degrees in here right now. Okay, so if I hit tab, it is alternating between those items. But like, it's also sort of, do you see how it's sort of like doing it twice? People have been reporting that bug before. This is actually the first time I've seen it. Like, tab, 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 tab. Yeah. So, I'm just going to chalk that up to needing to, like, redo the SDL code. So, also, while I'm here, I want to see if I could do this. Is that valid code? Does that still do what we want? Oh, nice. That's a whole lot of... Nice. It's a lot less symbols. Alright. You know, I still kind of want like to write a using macro. Or like use as. And it would just like it was just sort of like well, so I guess what I want to do here is I want to actually do something specific where use as type. Let me put M type here. And then I could do like use as type. You know, int this. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Dave's going completely off the deep end here. I don't know if I want that or not. I'll just not have it for now. Well, I don't know. I could at least make sure that that works. Yeah, so that works. But I don't know if that's something that I want to have in my code. So we will save that for a rainy day. I'm going to just put that here as a reminder that one could do that if they were so inclined. Also, I believe that we could just do this +1 anyway. That's the same thing, right? We're seg faulting. Apparently that is not the same thing. Why isn't it the same thing? Increment and then mod. Oh, order of operations. Silly. Let's see if that was right. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay, alright, so anyway. You know, I did all that work, but I don't think that's even what I want. But, I mean, the only reason I sort of went into that, all that, is because that is how the source viewer is working. And I think that that would be a cool thing to do there. Because the way that the source viewer is working is not very terse. It is like 100 degrees in here, and I don't know how much longer I can continue to do this without taking a break. But, watch window searching. Okay, so we've got so if we're in, okay, so right now I'm going to leave this in here because it is a simple way to switch modes. Actually, I'm going to change this to escape. Change it to escape, and then right here, we're going to do this in our main case. And we no longer need to announce that this is the main case. So, right, yeah. Um, let's go ahead and load, restart. Test. Struct. Yeah. Okay, so if we do press tab in search mode, we need to do search things. Okay. So can we do shift? Shift button? Shift is not a button, according to ARMGUI. Hey Jim, I guess we'll let you lurk. I'm okay with that. How are you doing, Jim? I need to know how warm it is in here. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna get some ice and some more water. I'll be back here. You know, I just realized that pretty much everyone who watches the stream is not from the United States. So I should probably convert my heat temperature complaints to metric, but here it is in Fahrenheit. I don't know if you can... Ah, crap. It's 96 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me switch this over to Celsius, or centigrade. And it is 35.8, 36 degrees, 36.6. Damn, you lose. Yeah. So, anyway, it is quite toasty in here. And it's not because it's that warm outside. Like, my window is 40. Actually, fuck, it probably is that warm outside. My window is 41.2. 41.4. Bert, my window is 105.0 degrees. Can you see that? Here, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so I just want to go on evidence, or here, so that everybody can see. My window is 106 degrees Fahrenheit. It's probably 90 degrees outside. It's just like with the, greenhouse effect. I don't know. Whatever. Alright. That's okay. I'm a code machine. Doesn't matter how warm it is. Would I be completely nuts if I just, blacked out my windows? Or put in, aluminum foil? Or aluminium foil or whatever. Sort of, reflect out all the light. I wonder if that would work. Or if I would have to put it on the outside of the window. Cover the outside of the window with aluminum foil. Well, everyone who watches my stream, except for you, Bert, is non-American. So I like to cater to, alternative ways of saying things. I imagine that Fiery Drake says aluminium. I would imagine that's the way that Fiery Drake says aluminum. Although I could be, stereotyping. It would work better outside? Okay. I don't know. I bet you we would save a ton on our heating bill if that would be like that. Or, I mean, not our heating bill. Our, our air conditioning bill. And I would be happier. And my electronics would probably last longer. I don't know. I'd give up sunlight. But who needs sunlight anyway? Maybe I could do half the windows. The lower half of the windows. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, fuck D vitamins. My doctor prescribed me actual vitamin D. Um, so I don't know. What does that say about me? Okay. We're running out. I was about to say we're running out of daylight. We're running out of time. So let's get the watch window locked down. We've got almost all of it working. We've got some bugs that pretty much, I would say, are out of our domain. But we also have... But other than that, I think it works really well. Right now, we just need to be able to search for things, so you don't have to like type it in specifically. So towards that end, we are going to implement Shift Tab as, or, well, right now we're just going to do Tab as a heavy search. We'll call them heavy searches and light searches. So if we'll do a tab to do a heavy search right now, and so let's do that. So let's check the GDB documentation on how we actually do that. So we could yeah. So worst case scenario, we have to do like info variables and then our search criteria. So actually, let's see what that looks like here. Info variables test. Okay. So apparently it does not like quotes. Okay. You could just get some shades, blinds, and roll them up. Oh, yeah. That seems really doable. I was being sarcastic, by the way. Well, in a light sense. Light. The wind would probably destroy the blinds, though. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be very weatherproof. Yeah. I get it. It's funny. Okay. So, we shall address the thermal issues off stream. So, like, can I do mi commands here, var create? No, I cannot do mi commands here. Okay, so let's pull up the docs. And let's do... Oh, people followed, and I did not say thank you. Thank you for following Risky5 and Wrong Runway. Wrong Runway. That's a tongue twister. Thanks for following, guys. Or gals. People. I'm pretty sure the Risky5 is a guy. So anyway, so distracted, must figure out searches. So info variables. Okay, so it does not look like there is a machine interface method of searching, which, you know, is another reason to fork GDB. It's like the 5th version of to fork GDB today. Yeah, so I'm going to do the watch window, and then I'm going to do the blog post. And every one of you guys should respond to the blog post and tell me what I should do in terms of forking GDB or not forking GDB. Or forking GDB and then calling it a GDB in a front end, or not calling it a GDB front end, or all of the many questions I'm going to prompt. Okay, so because without your feedback, it's just me writing some code. Is exclamation point really a valid symbol? Also, yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm probably going to have the blog post done on Sunday. I don't know. Also, I'm going to be gaming Sunday. I'm going to be playing Heat Signature. It's a game I've been looking forward to for a long time. So it'll be the first day I've taken off and played video games in a really long time. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have to do like a one of our console complete things that we've done. So also, I want to say that as far as I'm aware, GDB does not try to do anything sophisticated with searching and completions. Like, and even like sophisticated in terms of like cache control. So, like, for example, when GDB loads a source symbol file, it does not, like, when it reads all the dwarf information, it does not cache the information in any way. Like, it doesn't do it like it reads it all in, and then, like, when you load the binary the same way, it has to read all those symbols again. Now, that's not a big deal for small binaries like this, but I have, like, one of my other projects that I run this against, like, you know, for my Monday through Friday job. This, like, loading the binary takes a really long time, like a minute. And that's because it's got, like, Qt and like VLC and like a bunch of like, it's got tons of libraries in there. So I can understand why it's slow. But like a lot of those binaries, don't change. Like it's got a lot of shared libraries and they don't change. It still has to load all the symbols and converts it into its internal storage. So, like, that's like yet another reason to either fork or supplement GDB. Is because I could, supplement meaning I could, write my own process that indexes those files. And then just look up searches in that instead of GDB. But if I did it inside of GDB, then I kind of want to do it inside of GDB because then, because otherwise I have like two different databases, and it's kind of, to me, it seems kind of dumb to have a GDB database and my own database of symbols. But so what I mean is, it's not sophisticated in the sense that it does cache control for all of that stuff, because it could just say, "Oh, I've got a new shared object. Let me go look up to see if I already have a cache for that object, and then if I do and the build IDs match, then I'll just reuse the cache. If not, then I'll just generate the cache, and whatnot." And also, like, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't do any sort of like keyword indexing. So that's something we could do to speed it up. So like you build the cache and then you build a keyword index. And so that way, then searches could be super fast based on that. And as far as I'm aware, GDB runs everything in one thread, which is fine. I admire its simplicity, but it doesn't take any advantage on multiple cores. It doesn't take any advantage of having multiple cores in order to do its search in a parallel fashion. So there's a lot of missed opportunities for optimization here, and that's kind of so I guess what I'm saying is, like, the more I go into this, the more the limitations of GDB become apparent. So, anyway, I'll probably include that in my blog post as well. No, I probably won't, because that's like a ton of... I probably want to be terse. I don't want it to be like 20 pages. But anyway, what the fuck was I doing? Searching. Okay, so we need to do we need to run commands, console commands. Okay, so first off, so we basically need to copy the complete code from the console. So GDB console. It's actually a HUMBUG. Now it's actually in the non-GUI portion of the code. So we've got this guy, and actually that's probably where it should end up, too. That's yeah. Okay. So what we should do is we should probably write a procedure in HUMBUG to do searches, so that if somebody's not using the GUI, they can just call the engine and do a search. So that's basically doing a console complete here. Okay, so we should probably do that here. that does sound relevant. Could be under potential future optimizations on a forked GDB after the main question with the main issues. Yep. You know, and here's another thing that I'm interested in that I really want feedback from, and maybe you guys in chat can tell me, but like, let me pull up Chrome. Handmade network. If we go to Humbug here, I sort of have like an outline of like a bunch of things I want to do in sort of like whatever order I thought I was going to do them when I wrote this, right? What? What the hell? Oh, it's going to watch me. Okay. I was like, why is there a half-naked man on my Humbug page? Whatever. So I basically sort of alluded to the fact that, you know, maybe like the most important things that we do here first is we get all of the basic features like watch window, memory window, disassembly, you know, all this stuff done first. And then like try to like come up, hey Alan, how are you doing? And then come up and then like redo things. Like I don't really see this GUI as being the permanent GUI. Like there's a lot of problems with it. Like, you know, first off, like there's no copy and paste. You know, getting feedback from where like if I wanted to do like inspect this, you know, variable here, if I wanted to do some sort of like user interface, you know, integration with like clicking on it and then be able to do something intelligent with what I clicked on, like that's not really capable with the way that I'm using IMGUI now. And also, like, I can't copy any text from the console. And so there's a lot of frustrations that I have with that. And also, like, the SDL bugs involving, like, extra, you know, presses with the keyboard presses. Like, we need to sort of, like, debounce some of that. So anyway, you know, my original plan was to like say, okay, let's at least get all the basic features so that we could at least call ourselves a complete debugger and then go back and like address these issues. But like, I'm seriously like the biggest feedback that I've gotten from testers isn't that we're missing a disassembly window. And it isn't that we're missing like a memory viewer. It's the fact it's the basic GUI features that people are complaining about. So like I'm sitting here wondering, like, should we, like, just to make testers happy and also to like maybe try to get some of this GUI foundation stuff worked out earlier so that we're moving forward on the right foot, done, and maybe we should prioritize that instead of like trying to get some of the basic debugger features done. I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm asking. And so to rephrase the question is like, is this stuff, should I do all of this stuff first? Or should I try to work on the foundations of things first? So, I don't know. That's kind of what I was asking. Fiery Drake, you were gone, and I have to repeat all of that stuff because you weren't here. Gee whiz, Fiery Drake. basically, Fire Drake, what I was asking was, you know, there's a lot of problems with the GUI, and there's also a lot of problems with there's some other foundational stuff too, like performance issues and stuff with GDB and stuff like that. Should I address all of that stuff first before addressing the main issues, the core features of a debugger? Or should I just try to get core features out and then go back and address these, you know, foundational issues? Yeah, I am archiving, and I was mostly joking around, Fire Drake. But I am actually archiving on Twitch, and I am also archiving on YouTube soon. That's a new thing I'm doing. So anyway, so that's some feedback I'm wanting from you guys, and I'll probably address that on Twitch soon. Make a poll. Vote for a more usable GUI first. You vote for more usable GUI first. Okay. Hey, Doubter. Thanks for watching. I'm assuming that's spelled right. I don't know how to do a poll. Poll not found. Help poll. Help poll. Miblo did it the other day and it was really cool, but I don't know how to do it. But I mean, there's only 7 people here, so like if you just put your feedback here, then you know we could do it. Okay, so Fiery Drake is saying, okay, so daughter, Dautor, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, said that the more usable GUI first. Now, when you say more usable, do you mean like each specific item more usable, or more features overall? Because I think that's the big difference between like foundational and like having features. But I'm assuming that what you mean is, I think what you mean by more usable GUI first is that you think that we need, you know, these items first. That's what I'm assuming you mean. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Fiery Drake says we need a mix of both. Really, make features, and when you feel informed enough about how the foundation needs to work, then do another pass over it. Okay, well, I feel like I'm at that point now. I feel like I have some insight on some foundational things that need to be reworked. So I'm not sure. So I believe I could move forward, at least in some capacity there, and then move back into features. Mr. Fourth Dimension, I agree that you have to interleave foundation and features. Certain features reveal foundational problems. Certain foundational things enable features. Do the most obviously solvable things first is my way. Okay. Jim is trying to figure out the poll situation. Okay. Good luck, Jim. Or if your foundation is holding you back from something, or something is getting too messy. Okay. Every pronunciation is fine. Okay, thanks, daughter. Go for features. Fire Drake saying go for features first, but not every feature. Head back to foundation when it feels right. Doctor is saying, well, I was thinking of GUI features such as copy-paste, customization. Oh, okay. So, in my opinion, that's more of a foundational issue. So that's a foundations first type of thing. The Fiery Drake is saying, I feel like while it's more work to do, lots of passes over core system, iterating and refining is best. Yeah. I think if it was just me, like if it was just me, I would go ahead and take care of foundational stuff like now. Like obviously I want to finish the watch window now because I'm already in the middle of it. And I believe that I could finish that today. Although I said that last weekend, and it didn't happen. But like if it was just me, I would go ahead and like maybe not completely overhaul the GUI, but maybe take IMGUI down like one level lower. So I could maybe like draw the text myself and be able to like handle mouse stuff like that myself. And I believe I could get a lot of wins that way. I could get copy and paste working that way and stuff like that. But so I don't know. It requires some exploration. But I guess the real question I'm asking is it more important for the project to like get some of these features down so that more people could use it, and so like it would be more of a like instead of thinking about it like if it was just instead of just thinking about it in terms of me using it, like I need to know like if people are more interested in specific features or if they're more interested in just having everything done together. I think that's really what I'm asking, is if it's more important to get specific features done so that people could start using it faster, or start using it sooner. Or if it's more important to just think of like long term. I guess what I'm wondering is just short term versus long term usability. Should I focus on short term stuff or should I focus on long term? Because if I start focusing on this GUI stuff, it might be like a month before I actually deliver a new feature. Maybe. Because I'm only working like a few days a month, really. I don't know. If nobody cares, then I'll probably just overhaul the GUI. But I really want to make testers happy and like continue using it. And I feel like maybe this stuff would be more important for making testers happy or increasing the testing pool. I don't know. Jim's like, I'm on Windows, so don't listen to me. Getting working first and then getting things better, right? You'll find new features that you'll want to implement. Yes, I mean, that's true. It's been that way. Yeah, okay. Alright, well then I think that's what I'll do. I mean, I'm not going to say that's what I'm going to do in stone right now. But I think that's what I'm leaning towards. Is what Fire Drake just said. Just finish the watch window and then go back and do some foundational stuff. Okay, if anybody's got more thoughts and stuff, just keep them coming. Excuse me. We can continue the discussion, and I also want to say thanks a lot for everybody participating in this discussion, because it helps me out a lot to know, like, you know, what people want. And it's basically kind of how I'm driving the project. The others are not so important. Maybe not crashing is good though. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it crashes a lot now. Like, I mean, you've seen me use it, and it really only crashes when I hit, like, a new bug and stuff like that. But basically what I meant by not crashing is, like, I sort of want to rework the core of the program so it's more fault tolerant. So, like, when it hits an assert, it doesn't crash. It tries to recover, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, is a killer feature over straight GDB. Okay, so so you're thinking like memory window and watch window just really aren't that important right now. Like, it would be more important to, like, copy and paste everything than it would be to, like, have memory window and disassembly. Also, Jim, as the resident window user in our little group of humbug of humbugarians, buggins, whatever. Are you interested? Are you personally interested in cross-platform, like running on Windows? Because GDB runs on Windows. It doesn't do PDB, but it does dwarf on Windows, which is still pretty powerful. Okay. Fiery Drake has spoken. Humbuggers? Humburgers? No. Hamburgers? Okay. All right, so let's get search working. Let's get search working. So we've got a watch window, and we need to be able to search and complete. So in order to do that, I need to send over to GDB. Well, let's write a new procedure called write the usage code first, as Casey would say. Hamburgers sounds delicious. Okay, so we need to make a call to HB that's like, what do we want to say? Variable search? Search for variable. And I guess what we want to do is like a heavy search. Heavy. And this will distinguish it from a light search. Okay, so Jim says, don't worry about him on Windows. Well, I mean, I think that, so making a cross-platform debugger with the same user interface has been a goal from the beginning. But like, I guess right now, most important thing for everyone else is like just to have a good debugger on Linux, I think. But yeah, so I'll probably move forward with that because nobody's really asking for Windows yet. Okay, search for variable heavy, and what we will do is we will pass it in new watch text. All right. Yeah. Okay, so over here, we need to implement new watch text. Okay, so I'm just going to tack it onto the bottom here. Actually, let's do it next to the complete code because it'll be very similar to the complete code. Here. Okay, so or even this. It's very similar to this too. Alright, so let's do humbug impl, what are we calling this? Search for variable heavy. Alright, and so this is going to take a char star, okay. Oh, Alan, if you're here still, I want to say that one of my favorite features of 4Coder that I've just discovered recently is like the multiple copy paste buffer thing, where you can do like Control Shift V and then like go through all the things. That's, you know, I like that a lot. Thank you for making it. Thank you for making 4Coder, and thank you for making it awesome. And I'm hoping to do another 4Coder customization. I'm hoping to do another 4Coder customization stream eventually, because there's a bunch of things I would like to implement. So that should be fun. Okay, and so that's our implementation stuff. Oh, right. Shift doesn't exist. So we're just going to say tab here. I don't think most people shrug at it, Alan. There's like, you've got like so many backers. Let's see here. I'm not going to pull it up. But you got like thousands of backers or something, don't you? I don't know. I don't know. I think you shouldn't sell yourself short, Alan. A lot of people like 4Coder. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people do. Jim is saying, I find it hard to keep what I have in the buffers in my head. You guys are just better people than most. I think you just meant that feature. Oh, okay. Well, I just think that, like, I just didn't know about it until I was like, I want this feature. And then I was like, does it do it? And then, yes, it does it. Okay. Jim is saying, I find it hard to keep what I have in the buffers in my head. You guys are just better people than most. Like, are you saying you would need to look at this list a lot? Like the buffer list? Like, you're not sure what you have open? The point, well, so like if you're doing for the multiple copy buffers. Okay. Sorry. The well, I don't know either. I honestly don't know what I have either. I just know that in some point in recent history, I had copied it, and then I just keep doing Control Shift V until I get what I want. And so there are some gotchas on it. So like, let's see here. Let's do Humbug CPP. Let's do. So like, for example, like let's say I was doing this, all right? And so, like Control C, Control C, Control C. I'm not going to do all of them. But, okay. If I'm going to do something with all of those things down here, it's like you got to do them in reverse order. Like, Control Shift V, Control Shift V, Control Shift V. There you go. So that is kind of frustrating. But, we have to copy two from two different pages in the browser to the same place. Yeah. Whoa. Are you saying it works on the browser? Does 4Coder just monitor the clipboard? So if I do that one, that one, that one, that one. Oh, I had no idea. Oh, man. That's pretty cool. I thought it would just work inside of 4Coder. I had no idea that it worked globally. That's pretty cool. Very clever. Very, very clever, Alan. Okay. What was I doing? I was doing search code, right? Search for variable heavy. Okay. And what? Crap. Oh, by the way, Alan, I was very inspired by your code today because I noticed that you do, like when you're doing stuff like this, you do like, you know, I mean, you don't exactly do this because I'm not sure exactly what you typed in, but you do that, right? And I think I like that a lot better because I always forget what I named it here. So, you know, I don't know. I think I might start moving everything to doing it that way. But I don't know. Yeah, because what's cool about that is you can just like when you're down here, you could just put whatever you wanted here. And you can rename the variables whatever you want. So, yeah, yay for recreational programming. Okay. But anyway, I'd have to like, I think I would have to change too much stuff. I'd have to like change all of this to like get that to work. But actually, while we're talking about it, I want to do some research real quick. Because I wonder if you could do it like, because the way that I'm doing it, I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm not necessarily doing it in a different way than you, but I've got like more things going on. Like I've got this X list here, and then I'm basically instantiating it multiple times. Like I'm doing it here. And I think I'm doing it. Actually, I'm not. I think I'm just using it that one time. But I kind of want to know if I could do like something like this. Humbug impl 2, where I do like var args, and then do like yeah, I'm just not sure how that would work. Because I kind of wanted to maybe something like I wonder if you like I kind of wish you could do like you know 1. Oh, what I could do is I could do here, I know how I could do it. Oh, you're saying just paste this text. Oh, there's a lot of chat going on. Okay. Reminds me, there's a bug where I can't paste from 4coder into a terminal directly. But I don't know. Copy and paste on Linux is so dumb. Like, let's see here. I don't want to get into it, but like, there's like 3 different clipboards. It's pretty dumb. Yeah. Oh, it's a multiple clipboards problem. It's like, just like what you were saying. All right. Impl to fn ... var. Oh, right. Macro ## var args. I'm just saying put the in the parameter. Oh, right. You're saying I did it wrong. Yeah. You're right. Okay, so so if I did it this way, I would have to put the types in here. But I don't want to do that because the types, belong here. So, but what I am thinking is, like, if I did, let's do, like, HUMBUG API, I don't know what to call this. Like 2, 1, whatever. That's really confusing. HUMBUG 2 API 1. All right, so if I did, what I could do is just have it capture, like, impl arg 1. And then, like, I could have, you could have, like, int impl arg 2 or something. And then, like, down here, I could do, like, like, just do, like, pound define impl arg 1 before I call the macro. I don't know. That seems really verbose. I don't know. Whatever. I'm sure there's a way to do it. There is some C preprocessor massaging that could be done. Oh, interesting. UTF-8 string. It's a really good point insofar as. All right. We're so distracted. All right. Oh man, all that work and I still don't know what it's called. All right, that's fine. We're just gonna go up here so I can see them both at the same time. By the way, computer programming has ruined my memory. Like, I used to be one of those people who could sit in class and, like, never have to, like, take notes because I would just absorb everything. Come on. Cannot operate 4-coder and talk at the same time. But now I can't, like, remember a phone number. Or, like, if somebody is, like, giving me directions, I have to write them down, like, as they're telling me. Because, like, I've gotten to the point where if I don't see everything on the screen at the same time, I can't remember what it is. Okay, search expression. You have to do a whole negotiation for the type of stuff. That sounds right. Okay, so now that we have our search expression, what we want to do is we want to... Why not have it like this? Search arg1, arg2. Well, so the problem with that is that... well, I could do that if I could have defaults for arg1 and arg2. Like, so the reason why I don't do that here... Okay. So this gets used multiple places, right? This gets used here. Okay, so this is an X list, which means that it's basically just a list of strings that I can plug in for other macros. And so, like right here, yeah. So like right here, I'm defining the underscore to be this, you know, to fill in this HUMBUG API stuff, right? And then I'm calling it. And if I were to, then I'm calling the macro. And if I were to put in arguments like that, I'd have to like figure out how to fill in those arguments in this case. Like down here, I would not need to fill in the arguments. Where am I defining HUMBUG impl? Yeah, because what here I could just do ... you know, var args, right? And that, because, you know, like when you're implementing it, you can just specify whatever you want to call the arguments. So, I guess what I could do here is I could just put all the arguments here. Like, you know, A, B, C. Because I don't care what they're called. And then make this... Gosh, I really need to put some of this stuff in like multiple files. Or something. Then I could make this a variadic function as well. Oh, right. It's gotta be one. Why not have it like this? Define arg1, arg2. Okay. Could it be solved by making HUMBUG API search call with some default parameters? Something like HUMBUG API 1 underscore search name. Ah. Yeah. That could probably work. And it would be on the same line. So like it would be you know, like for every one of these or something, it would be and then what I would do is just do like search expression. Something like that. And then missing a define. I think I get what you're saying, and yeah, I do think that would work, and I think that's a very good solution. I don't really see any drawbacks. I do like the fact that they're coupled together here on the same line. Or I mean, you know, I could, you know, I don't have to like go across the document. Or I don't have to like go to multiple places in the file. Yeah, I'll have to explore that. I'm gonna comment this out and save this for future ponderings. And so, and also I kind of want to say that like, here. Well, let's get back to a runnable state here. Yeah. So, and I also sort of want to outline that, you know, like the win for this really isn't that much. I mean, if I were to do this again, I probably would do this in a little bit simpler way, because the payoff for doing the X list and the, you know, stuff like that really isn't, you know, that much. But I kind of originally started doing it this way because I thought it was going to, I thought the code was going to look more like, I thought the code was going to look more like, oh shoot, I can't show you guys that code. Yeah, all right. I don't really have example code that I am capable of showing you guys right now that could describe what I'm saying. But like, so just to give you kind of like an example of the more specific way of saying what I was trying to say is that so this gets me the function signature, right? And this right here is the equivalent, like down here is the equivalent of a forward declaration. Okay. But like if I were to hot load this code, if I was doing hot loading, like the Casey style of hot loading would be to basically do like a type def of all of this stuff, right? So you could do I think that what you would do is you would do like pound define type def or pound define underscore mf mn I'm just going to copy this code down here because I'm pretty sure this is correct. Minus the type def. Right? And that'll get you type defs for everything. And then what you would do here, and then you would pair that with an undef. And then what you would do is you would do HUMBUG API. And that would get you type defs for everything. Believe that is correct. Format parameter 2 is out of bounds. What? All right. Oh, okay. I have no idea what its problem is. Oh, okay. It's complaining because it's not in a class. Or it's not in a struct. Because I'm doing dot calls. I believe. And because... and with it like that... or something like that. Yeah. You have to do type defs differently when it's a dot call. And I forgot how you do those. I think like you do HUMBUG. And just to sort of like give you the jump in my logic here. So, because I know it might seem like, where did that come from? But like, so format here, what it's talking about is it's talking about like printf style formatting. All right. And in my code, I have like stuff like this, where it's like attribute format printf. Okay. And what that does is it tells the compiler, hey, this is a printf style function, and you should give me all warnings related to the printf arguments like this. And you sort of specify where it is, like the second argument and the third argument, or where in the function call signature these arguments are supposed to, the printf parameters are supposed to start. All right. And so when I'm doing the type def here, there's no indication in this syntax that's saying, hey, this is part of a class. All right. Or, I hate saying that's part of a class because I'm not, it makes it sound like I'm doing object-oriented programming, and I'm not. I'm just doing it for, basically syntax sugar, because I don't want to pass my context to every single function in my program. So anyway, that's a separate discussion. But anyway, so in order to do that, I think what I have to do is I have to do like HUMBUG, pound, and then it's going to complain about no HUMBUG, so I do struct HUMBUG Incomplete type. Okay, okay, okay. So I think what I have to do is I have to do it here after I complete the type. Expected unqualified ID. What? Oh, okay, 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 okay. List. Okay, it's like I've got like some sort of recursive problem. Okay, we're looking it up. Because I'm probably not doing it right. So, class type def of member function pointer. Right. You need to follow this very intuitive syntax. Okay, so star HUMBUG API, and then close our parentheses here. And okay, let's try that out. Unknown type name engine start. You know, I'm just giving up because how did we get here? Yeah. I think I'm just gonna give up because this is just trying to be an example anyway. But I don't want to give up. Okay, so that will give me the function. Oh. Okay. I got it. I didn't go deep enough. Way further down the rabbit hole. Okay. So I'm just gonna quit this right here because it's we're sort of culminating to a bunch of non-work philosophical discussions of doing things. But I did want to say, basically my point is that the XList stuff that we are doing right now was because I was originally intending to set this up for hot loading. But I found a much simpler way to do hot loading. So that does not require having pointers to like every function. So I'm not doing it that way. But basically, how it worked was that you would do you would define your like an API call xlist, and it would just do this stuff. Yeah, and so here's the types that I had, but I'm not sure if they work for member functions or not. I don't know. The stuff that I'm pretty sure that the stuff that I'm using for this does not. I'm not using member functions for the stuff that's using this code. But basically what this does is you pull this into your header, into the, it's designed for like, Sean Barrett style, libraries where you've got like the pound def for the implementation, or if you don't, pound def for the implementation, then, it doesn't build the implementation. And, but it does define a static inline called runtime load for whatever, when you're just doing the header version of the file. And what that does is that goes ahead and just pulls in a struct that has all of the API calls and pointers to those API calls that get defined. And instead of DL loading every function, it just DL loads the pointer to the struct and runs it that way. And in my opinion, that was way simpler than trying to DL load everything. And also, I know most of you guys probably just don't care about this, and that's totally fine. But doing it this way works with like C++ namespaces. And you can get the DL load stuff to work with C++ namespaces, but it's a huge pain in the ass. And in this way, the only thing I'm DL loading is this little thing that is this symbol called underscore DL impl. And from that, shared object or whatever. And that's the only symbol that gets imported, and everything else gets imported from that struct. So I don't have to worry about C++ name mangling. And also for the record, the way that I'm hot loading Humbug. Okay, all right. Well, I gotta quit myself because I'm probably talking about stuff you guys don't care about, and I'm not actually fixing the things that I should fix. So I'm gonna focus on fixing that, and I'll talk about all the other stuff later. But okay. Search. All right. So what we need to do is we need to open up the code here so I can look at both areas of the code at the same time. And yeah, okay. So we're basically doing exactly this. I don't think you were missing much, Mr. Fourth Dimension. I'm just kind of going into the craziness of the bad choices, the bad coding choices that I'm making. Okay, so then we send over. So we instead we want to do info address, right? Info variables, and then some regex. Okay, so info variables. And then search expression. And then okay, and then we need to do an ever loop. All right, night, daughter. Thanks for watching. Define ever. Forever. That would ruin things insofar as forever. I do like that though. Forever. Oh my gosh. Oh man. In all reality though, I could just do this forever. I mean, but whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna give props to insofar as for that. Alright, so we got first char. Okay. This is complete banana cakes. And I acknowledge that. Okay, so for right now, what I think we want to do is we just want to do pipe no, because we still want to do this if first char. We want to do that, and I think we also want to do this. Okay. But all right, okay. And then we want to do this. No. Yep. So if we hit that, then we're done. Okay, and then once we're there, I'm assuming that we need to do this stuff. I really should just come up with a way to do to just do this, because I've done this like multiple times now, and I have like a lot of repeated code, but we'll figure that out later. Okay, so here we need to do pipe rest line to console. And we'll do that. Okay, so I believe everything's properly hooked up now. So we should be able to do... We should just get stuff on the console now. So if we do like test tab, what happens? Don't crash. Oh, we were in the wrong search mode. Okay. Okay, well, we don't crash, that's good, but we don't get like a list of things. I was kind of hoping do we get global variables? Global. Yes. Okay, so we get global variables. Okay, so if we run to here, we should definitely get results for test. But we do not. Why do we not get results for test? Okay, so am I misunderstanding the way that info variables work? So let's go up here. So info locals. Info variable GUI. Interesting. It does not grab locals. It only grabs global variables. Did I miss that in the documentation? Let's do info locals. So really I should change that to like search globals. Outside of functions. Yeah, God, I'm an idiot. IE excluding. It says that in so many words. Like half of the description is all of that, whatever. That's okay. Because we can just list locals ourselves. We already know. We already do that. Okay, so I'm not going to parse this right now. So, like, I need to replace this with something that actually parses the results. And I'm going to put off doing that because I sort of was hoping that this would just give me all of the results, but I need to, like, sort of union these results with the results from multiple sources, at least two. One of them is locals. So there are really just locals and globals, right? There's not like a third option in GDB's mind. So what if there were subscopes? Oh, let's see here. Continue. All right, so anything that we would care about would be like info locals, right? Okay. And of course, we need to go. We'd probably want to walk all of the locals back, right? Because if you are... Oh no! Is it failing? Okay. Um... Okay, I think I need to right now bring in another piece of the puzzle, and that is we need to basically say we need to have some control over where this variable, this watch object thing is created. So, I think I want a toggle button here. That's like switches between three options, right? We have the floating variable right now. We have the floating option, which is where it'll basically just like this watch will be attached to whatever like applies for that specific thing. Like whatever frame or thread that we are in, it'll try to like apply that to it. Then there's the option where it's pinned to a specific thread and frame, and what I'll do for that is I'll basically just say, you know, whatever one that you select here will be, it'll just pin it to that one, pin it to that frame. And then you have the idea that no, I think you really just have two choices. Right? GDB has three choices. But that's just because one of the options is basically just a shortcut to like selecting it. Whoa, how did we get slow all of a sudden? Whoa. Oh, we're slow because of this console. That's another thing we need to fix. When this console gets big, our frame rate drops. Okay, so now, yeah, clear the console and it's fast now. Okay, so let me just add a button there real quick. So in the GUI, we've got this need a button here. Oh, we're not in the GUI file. Okay, so I think what we want is we want a button. And why are you not redrawing? Is it not registering focus as an event? Interesting. Oh no, it's because of the lag. It's because of lag. Come on, clear the console. Why is that happening? Oh, it's because of Alt-Tab. Yeah, every time I Alt-Tab. Yeah, okay. I got a fix for that. Okay. So here's our text box. There's a button, add new watch expression. Okay. So imGUI, same line. Let's do if watch window window pin to thread. Or watch window floating. Floating selected. I have no idea what to call this thing. Alright, if watch window floating selected, then we'll do a button. Pinned to thread to frame, selected frame. Click to toggle. Okay. Else floating. Floating. Right. Alright, so right, and we're not doing anything in the button, so And we need to redraw. Why does it take 3 clicks? 1, 2. Or rather, why does it take 2 clicks? Okay, so right now it's just taking 1 click. But if I don't move the mouse, then it takes 2 clicks. Oh my gosh, click uncertain amount of times. So, okay, here. Mr. Fourth Dimension. Does the screen refresh right away? So I have this call to redraw, which should queue up a redraw right away. Alright? And so, like, so it should redraw. It should refresh right away. And so, like, if I click it, then it's switched. Alright? I'm going to click it again, and it switches. So as long as I move the mouse before clicking it, it works. Oh, damn it. I know why it's not working. It's because IMGUI registers it as a different button because it has different text. And it only calculates the hot zone in between, you know, okay. So it's not, okay, I think I know why it's doing it. But, like, just so that the problem is clear, it's that you have to move the mouse before your click registers. So I'm clicking it. See, I'm clicking it, and it didn't register that as a click. It did redraw, but it didn't register that as a click. So I think what I got to do here is I think I have to do here is do like pound, 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 floating. And do floating. For it to register it as the same button. I think that's what you have to do. No. Well, okay, let me... Well, let me double check that real quick. So let me do IMGUI text. So here, we'll do... And then these will be the same. Toggle. Okay, so really I just have a button that toggles. So I don't really need any of that. All right. Well, okay, now it's impossible to test. Because our GUI is going all over the place. Okay, so that was not the problem, because it does the same thing now. What? I'm just going to do like a printf. Yeah, so it's not registering. You can see the this stuff down here at the bottom. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I don't really care. Like, this is like the foundational things I was talking about, right? Like, because I haven't actually done the work of implementing a GUI, I'm sort of like a slave to its implementation. So, I don't really understand why. That's the only button. Yeah. That's the only button that works that way. Like this one registers every click. Right? Is it because I'm doing this stuff here? Maybe? Okay. Okay. Now it works all the time. Okay. Okay, so what's going on here, right? Okay, so I believe if I go to Humbuggery, if I go to GUI, so it's all loaded. So if I do Alt-Shift-F, search all list locations for, and I'm going to do set keyboard focus. All right, so we're doing it in GUI.cpp, and we are doing that's where we are now, and we're doing it in console. And we are doing it in source viewer. So what is the proper way to massage HUMBUG? Ah, okay. I don't really understand the difference between these two cases. I mean, obviously I understand hovered and active, but what are you unhappy with? You don't like my parentheses, man? Okay, so it still doesn't like that. You know, I'm just going to copy this over verbatim. Yeah, no idea. No freaking clue. Okay, so could it be that the button is in an overlapping window? Jim is saying this. I mean, the button is part of the window that is overlapping another window, and it needs to check focus differently. I mean, these are both windows that are overlapping. This window and this window are both peers. Right? So in terms of overlapping, they are the same. Maybe. I know that this window has a sub window in it. So that might be different. What is mouse clicked 0? Oh, maybe this is like a repeat thing. All right, let's go to the documentation. The documentation. What are we doing? Is mouse clicked? Int button. I'm gonna do if not mouse is down. What does button do? Button. No, hold on. Mouse down. Int button. I have no idea what that is referring to. Oh. Which button on the mouse? Like left or right? Okay. Yeah, so no idea. So I'm just going to comment out this code. So the whole point behind this code here is, yeah, see now it works as expected. The whole point behind that code here is like, return the focus back to that box here. And so I think what I'll do is, I'm just going to do like a static bool refocus equals false. Buggy stream for you?